will it. He will.
It's the Skinny on Sports Podcast with Aaron Cowk.
I throw balls far. You want good words? Data language.
Talk real sports with a real man.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
And now, here's the be-all, end-all, know-it-all of high school, college, and pro sports. Aaron Skinny Cowk with the Skinny on Sports.
We're talking about practice, man. I'm the MVP.
Good Wednesday morning out there, Western Oklahoma. Welcome to the Skinny on Sports right here on 98.1 FM, the Sports Animal. Glad to have you along for the next hour. We got all kinds of we got people stopping by. We'll have Coach Maynard coming up about 15 till the top of the hour. Talk about the Elk City Clinton football game, first district game of the season, kind of rehash what happened in the non-district. So we'll have him a little bit later. Jared's been wanting to talk Major League Baseball for the first 3 days, or the first 2 days.
The Rangers lose like 9-1 last night.
Well, that's okay. They're still in pretty good shape to win the West. So we'll run down the pennant chase. But first, we have Elk City head softball coach Kaleb Murray with us to talk 4A regional that will be held right here at the Fiveplex. In a couple days, we'll get right to that. 225-9698 is the phone or the text line, 225-9698. Give us a call, shoot us a text, talk about anything that you want to talk about on the sporting landscape. If you're going to be outside the listening area one of these days and you want to stay in touch with the show live, it's easy to do that. Log on to kadsam.com, or even better, download the app. The app, Paragon Communications app, is completely free. It's got everything. It's got the radio stations. It's got the Penny News, Big Elk and Paragon TV. It's just loaded with everything we do right there in that app. Good morning, Jared.
Morning.
Good morning, Coach Murray.
Good morning, guys.
How's it going?
Oh, it's going good, man. We're getting there now, getting to the end.
We had you on to kind of preview the season, and obviously one of the main storylines of your team was losing all the seniors from last year's team, replacing them with some younger gals this year. How has your team developed as those younger players have got more time on the field?
Week by week, we've just slowly been getting better. We got enough upperclassmen leadership. We got really good seniors that have just embraced those younger girls and helped them along. It's really made my job pretty easy. I thought early in the year we would have some, struggles that you get from playing those younger girls. We had some girls come in that, had never been a part of our team, and to where we are now, they compete, man. They want to get better. They know what's on the line. A lot of them had a sour taste in their mouth from how we ended last year. So I like where we're at. I like the season that we've had. And, for us, we're trying to peak at the right time, which is always important.
One of those younger gals that obviously played a big role last year in the circle was Aubrey Pogue. Mm-hmm. How much or what differences do you see in her game from freshman year to now this year as a sophomore?
Well, she's kind of turned it up a notch as far as just, competing. I always tell her, I try to get her to have more of that, what we call dog mentality, own the circle, own what you're doing. Sometimes last year, I don't think she understands just how good she is. This year, she's been really dominant. I think she's at 226 strikeouts already this year, and has actually thrown less innings than last year, so still doing it at the plate. She's hitting around 500. I'm glad she's on our team. I'll tell you, that's for sure. I'm glad I don't have to game plan for her, because it makes my job easy to know that, she's going to go out there, and with the stuff that she has and just who she is as a competitor, we're going to be in any game with whoever we play.
Who else? You mentioned her hitting. Who else is hitting it well for you?
Our most consistent has been Ella Satilli, and she's done that consistently over her whole career, and I'm pretty sure her whole life going back. She's one of those ones that is just, I call her a firecracker. When she goes, we go. She leads by the way that she plays. You're never going to have to question if she's going to play hard. And she's just wears it out, man. Good pitching, she wears out, and she kind of just gets us going. And when we're playing our best, she's right there at the top leading the way.
Yeah, it seems like just kind of looking through as the games are going on Game Changer or watching the guys call the games. there was a little bit of juggling of lineups early on to try to find the right chemistry or who needed to be where. Have you pretty well kind of settled on what you're doing now as the season has gone along?
Yeah, we were struggling early hitting the ball, and that's something that I kind of, expected with the younger ones that we were going to have. Our team's completely different. We got more speed than we've had. We got the ability to lay the ball down, to run a little bit, and so, early on we did a lot of mixing and matching, but I feel good where we're at. We've played really consistently over the last, few weeks, and our lineup 1 through 9 has been really productive, and that's important for us. We got some girls who are, hitting it as good as they've hit it all year, and like I said, it's just about peaking at the right time, and we're getting there. We're having competitive at-bats, and our big goal going up is, we want to be productive in whatever we do, and sometimes that doesn't always equate to a hit, and I think some of the girls are starting to kind of figure that out.
Hanging out with head coach Kaleb Murray of Elk City Softball. Regionals coming up here starting tomorrow morning at 11 against Pauls Valley. Man, you guys were so close to being the district champs. 2 walk-off wins against you, and then the Weatherford comeback from 4-0 in the 6th inning. How do you guys grow from that and then turn some of those games into wins now that we're in the playoffs?
Well, those games and kind of what we've been preaching now is, finding a way to finish. Finding a way to finish with all 3 of the games, that we lost, weren't necessarily decided on the last play. And that's what I try to, tell those girls and to tell them, it's not the one play that does it for us. It's what we do and how can we stay consistent throughout. For us, mainly the middle innings. Usually the first inning isn't a problem for us. I will say I think it's going to be a positive because our girls are battle tested. They know they can win. I don't have to tell them, that we, in the long run gave those games away. And, credit to those other teams, credit to Woodward and Weatherford for battling and grinding and finding a way. They're both gritty teams. I don't know if many people would have thought that Woodward was going to be what they are, but their coach does a great job, and of course Coach Morris over there, for whatever reason, he's had my number. I can't get across to him, and I told him that. I said, no matter what I do, for whatever reason, I can't get you. And so, I feel confident though. We played well in all those games. We responded well. We kind of set the tone, and we just let it slip away. But the games now at this point, it doesn't matter records. It doesn't matter any of that. It's every game's going to be tight. And so for us, we've had a lot of those where we've been, battle tested, and I think we're finding ways to shut people out and finish as the season's gone along. So I'm confident. I'm confident in our group and our abilities and what our girls have to offer.
You kind of answered this question, but you mentioned battle tested. How big is that going into the playoffs, playing in a district like this, having those close games, albeit coming on the short side, but does that feel like that prepares your team for what could be a battle in the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, even coming in here, hosting a regional for us, was important. That was our goal to start the year. We wanted to make teams come play us at home. We feel like we play really well at home. Our fans have done a great job coming out. We know the support's there. There's going to be something throughout the course of just even regionals, as close as it is, that's not going to go your way. You're going to have a game. Maybe people expect you to, blow somebody out or something, but sometimes it just, it stays close. And so for us, we've been there. We've been in the fire. A lot of these girls I know I can rely on, to lead the way. So I think it's going to set up any of the success that we've had is the games that we've had over the course of the year, playing the opponents that we play. I mean, we've had close games with really good teams.
Talking to head coach Kaleb Murray of Elk City Softball. Speaking of this regional, the other teams, Bridge Creek, McGinnis, and Pauls Valley, just from the finishes in the districts, it would appear Bridge Creek would be kind of the toughest opponent. You look at sort of games they played against common opponents with you guys, split with Weatherford and a couple of one-run games, so they were right there in the same boat with you guys. And then McGinnis and Pauls Valley had pretty decisive losses to Clinton and Weatherford. But just kind of tell us about what those other teams bring to this regional.
Yeah, so we'll start out with Pauls Valley, and everybody keeps telling me that when they step off the bus, they're going to look the part. tall, athletic girls. Said they're good athletes. Said that they're just maybe not there right now as far as just, softball wise, but going to have a pitcher that throws strikes. They say she throws it decent, so it'll be a good test for us. We didn't get to play Bishop McGinnis, so I don't know a lot about them. I do know that their best player before this year, she moved over to Edmond Memorial. So, and she's a D1 kid. Bridge Creek, I went and watched. They're solid. They're a well-coached team. They play good defense. They got a pitcher that mixes up speeds pretty good. And, they like to swing. I mean, they get after it. 1 through 9, they're going to swing. They're not watching pitches. Shortstop's probably their best player. She's a lefty swinger, and, I mean, she's quality. She's a really good hitter. I mean, I was really impressed. So, for us, I have total confidence in our team. If we show up and we do the things right, I think we're the best team in here. I mean, I'll take my team, over a lot of them. And, if we show up and we fumble it around, yeah, Bridge Creek's good enough to beat us, and some of these other teams will be too. We just can't let them hang around, Our girls going in, we've been preaching, no mercy. I mean, that's just what it is. It has to be no mercy at all times. And, I've seen our team play with what I call, reckless abandon and when they're really going, and we're pretty good.
I'm looking on here. The game times have changed a little bit, and I love it because the first game, you guys, 11 a.m., so take an early lunch break, fill the stands, and then potentially a 5 o'clock game. So that time's out perfect for those who have to work, right? So why the time change? Did I miss that?
There's really no super big reason why. When we went to Lone Grove, we played that first game. They played the first game at 10 o'clock in the morning. A lot of people changed from that just to play that last game a little bit earlier. And then especially on the second day, we'll change as well. And same thing that they have is just like us. They got football going on and stuff. We're trying to, we're totally focused on winning our regional, do those things, but we also want to be able to have people to go out and support, like big football game coming up. We want them to have that option to go do that as well while also supporting us. So it's really just a mix of trying to have the best for both worlds.
The home field, let's talk about this. How much turf do you play on other than at home?
This year we played at Kingfisher. I think Kingfisher was the only one that we played on that I can remember. A lot of people are going to it. Newcastle's getting it. Tuttle has it. I keep hearing more and more people are going to it as well. It's going to be an advantage for us. State tournament, if we're fortunate to get there, it's going to be played at Fire Lake. So, I mean,
yeah.
I've already had people calling me asking if they can come practice, small schools for next week if they get through. And, for us, we're really fortunate as far as, having some familiarity with it.
Yeah, you went into my next question. If that gives you any kind of advantage with field or natural versus turf, because you see it. I've seen it with the way the ball bounces, the way it skips, and some players aren't prepared for that.
Yeah, it can do funky things. You start spinning a ball a little bit and stuff like that. I will say though, the more you play on it, the more predictable it is.
Yeah.
So as far as like the advantage comes in just. The predictability. Our girls have seen it. They know what's going to happen, depending how it's hit or stuff like that. So that's where the biggest advantage comes for us. It's just, we kind of know how it hops and plays.
Yep.
Do you like, first off, for those that don't know, the format has changed playoff-wise in 2A all the way up through 6A. In that used to, it was what would you call that? The bye district was the best 2 out of 3 series against a team, and then 4 teams went to a regional double elimination as this is. They've reversed it. So essentially it's just like what you see in the college game. You've got a 4-team regional, double elimination. One comes out, and then next week the teams will be ranked, and it'll be a super regional, best 2 out of 3 to get to that state tournament. Do you like the way this has changed?
I love it.
How come?
Well, in the past for us, where you finish in our district, we've been going to, Newcastle, Lone Grove, Tuttle, places like that, with teams who are, consistently winning state championships or at least getting there. This gives us the option, to maybe go play out east or somewhere like that. It's not just dead set. I've been a part of the rankings before, and we kind of talked about this a little bit before the show started. There's also, you don't know how everybody's going to treat that. Is everybody going to rank it how it should be? Is somebody going to try to play in their favor? I've seen both sides of that, but I'll take my chances. And when they went to this, the big goal was let's get the best 8 teams in the state tournament, and it's no secret the best softball over the past few years has been played on the west side of the state, and so I think if we had this format last year, I think we'd probably end up in the state tournament, to be quite honest.
Oh, 100%. There's no doubt that you guys were in the top 8. Last question for me. Jared kind of mentioned it, but when, where can people come watch tomorrow?
Yeah, so 11 o'clock in the morning. If you want to come out, you have to buy your tickets online. You can do that at the OSSAA website. Hopefully we're playing at 11 and 5. We want the stands packed. These girls, they're exciting. They work hard. They deserve every bit of the success that they get. For me, I'm just a name with the program. It's all the girls putting in their hard work. It's all those extra girls, who have played JV this year, showing up for 6 a.m. weights throughout the whole year. We've been lifting Tuesdays, Thursdays, game days, non-game days, doesn't matter. So they're putting in the work. We're seeing the success. We're fortunate. We have a lot of really good softball players. We got girls who are sacrificing where they could go play somewhere else to be a part of this, and it's because of that competition. It's because of those girls' drive for us to get to that next level, which I think is super important.
Absolutely. And, there's still that carrot hanging out there. Who's going to be the first team
That's right.
to get to the state tournament in fast-pitch softball? This one has a good chance as any, right?
Yeah, I think so. I like our odds. I like the team we have. They want to compete. And it's just simple. They want to win, and that's big. Some people just like to show up and enjoy the show, and I think these girls have invested enough that, they want to go do it.
That's awesome. Man, thanks for your time. Good luck to your girls this week, and then hopefully next week as well in the Supers.
I appreciate it.
Head Coach Kaleb Murray of the Elkett softball program. When we come back, we'll let Jared gloat a little. The Rangers. They're going to make the playoffs, Jared.
Yeah, there's a good chance.
They're going to make the playoffs.
But with what pitching?
It doesn't matter. If I'd have told you at the start of the year the Rangers in the playoffs, you wouldn't be worried about what pitching.
Yes.
You'd have said, who got hurt on the other teams?
So give me the shirt. Let's go.
All right, we'll be back.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountains?
The Skinny on Sports.
That's what I'm talking about.
Unpopular opinion. I didn't really like that movie.
Really?
Yeah. Wasn't a giant Napoleon Dynamite guy.
It was a weird movie. But it was a movie that the laughs came out and like, what? And you just start cracking up.
And lots of lines.
Oh, it gave you a lot of one-liners.
A lot of one-liners.
A lot of one-liners.
This wasn't.
It was, yeah.
It
wasn't a movie that took off in theater. It was a movie. It came at the right time, at least in my life, when I'm 40. I don't care. You can go to in college. You're at a house party, and someone would pop the DVD in, and people would just crack up and just watch it and wouldn't turn it off. And
I probably need to go back.
It grew in popularity that way.
Yeah, but kind of a cult following.
It did
with younger, like college.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to accuse you of being a stoner, but kind of that group.
Oh no, I wasn't. No, I'm
not saying that you.
That
were,
was not.
Yeah.
Not me. No, but it was. It
kind
was
of that
just,
way.
It was like, we would stand the entire movie and just watch it. Watch this part, because we would look for the people who didn't see it.
Yeah.
Go, what would their reaction be? What's their reaction going to be?
Very interesting. Welcome back. Skinny on Sports, 98.1 FM, the Sports Animal. Got Coach Maynard coming up here in about 15 minutes. First, Jared, I'm going to give you a chance to gloat. Your Texas Rangers, 5 games left, and they own a 3-game lead in the loss column in the division over the Astros and the Mariners. Now, the one scary thing, if I'm you, is that 4 of those last 5 are directly against the M's, which that's like almost the only way this can turn bad, is you get swept
in a 4-game
series by the Seattle Mariners.
I'm looking for the magic number.
But I will say this, going into that 4-gamer that'll start tomorrow, you know what the record of the Rangers against the Mariners is this season?
No.
8-1.
Is it 8-1? Okay.
Yes. They have dominated them.
I should have known that.
They already have the head-to-head.
I know, yeah.
So here's actually the thing. As much as this is going to pain you to do, you need to root for Houston today to beat Seattle
Sure.
because you're guaranteed in the playoffs.
If Houston beats Seattle today.
That's correct, because that's
exciting.
That would give Seattle 73 losses. Then if you get swept, you still have the tiebreaker over Seattle, because now there's no play-in. There's none of that. It's all tiebreaker.
Yeah. Well, I will supply the trash cans for Houston and the buzzers. Whatever it takes. I'm all for it, Houston.
Oh, heavens.
Please cheat to help the Rangers, please.
I think it's down, really and truly. Minnesota, Baltimore hasn't wrapped up the East. They're close. But what's interesting about this is the two best records in the American League are both in the AL East, which means your Rangers are very likely to get one of the two byes.
Oh, that'll be good.
And that also means that whoever finishes as the third wild card is going to have to play the second best team in the American League, be it Tampa or Baltimore. And then, of course, the other two, Toronto feels like they're kind of in that second wild card slot, fairly solid, two games up in the loss column over both the Astros and the Mariners. So it looks like that last wild card is going to be down to Houston and Seattle, which that means that today's game is humongous for both of those teams. So here's what they got left. Let's pretend like the three AL East teams all are going to make it, with Baltimore, Tampa, and Toronto. Twins win the Central. Say the Rangers win the West. That comes down to Houston and Seattle for that final wild card spot. They play today in Seattle, and then Seattle's got 4 at home against Texas. Houston has to go to Arizona for a 3-game series, which the Diamondbacks
not necessarily a cakewalk.
No,
they're not.
Diamondbacks are in the heat of the wild card battle in the National League. All the National League divisions have been clinched. The Braves, the Dodgers will get the byes, and my Brewers are NL Central champs. Phillies are in as the top wild card, and then there's 4 teams for 2 spots. Arizona currently has the advantage for the second spot with only 74 losses. They've got 2 against the White Sox and then those 3 against Houston. The Cubbies and the Marlins are tied with 75 losses apiece. Marlins play a doubleheader today at the Mets, then have another one with the Mets, and then they have 3 at Pittsburgh. The Cubs, Atlanta, and Milwaukee, all on the road. 2 at Atlanta, 1 in Milwaukee. That seems like the toughest. And then Cincinnati, a couple of losses back. They need some help. They've got only 4 games left, 1 at Cleveland, and then 3 at the Cardinals. So it's going to be an exciting rest of the week to figure out exactly how all this shakes out when it comes to the wild card races in both the American and National League, and then also there's still that one division race in the AL West that can still kind of flop around, but it does seem like your Rangers are in a really,
shape.
really good spot. Now, let me ask you something. There's something occurring in baseball that has not occurred in 30 years. First time in 30 years something is going to happen, and it has to do with what we're talking here. But it has to do with who's not being talked about.
Right.
Do you know what it is?
Yeah. Boston, New York, Yankees, and the Cardinals
Correct.
are not going to be a part of the postseason.
That is way to go, Jared.
Well
done.
I saw the statter somewhere this morning.
Very well done.
Yeah. A little crazy. And I also saw the chances of World Series participants and the way that they're favoring the Rangers in the AL at this moment.
I had seen one that had Baltimore then Texas.
It was Texas and it might have been a different thing you saw or a different.
It could have been with one law. I mean, who knows?
It could have been before yesterday's loss
Right.
for the Rangers that snapped their 6-game win streak, but it was a slight edge over Baltimore. So it was like Texas, Baltimore, the Rays, And then for the NL, it was, believe it or not, the Dodgers and then the Braves.
Yeah, I'd seen I wonder how. So we know how it shakes out as far as the wild cards playing each other with the seeding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder.
Does it get reseeded depending on who wins, or is it
not 100% sure.
set in there like the 3-6 matchup is going to play the 2,
right,
and the 4-5 is going to play the 1?
I'm not 100% sure.
You know, like it's almost like an NFL bracket in a lot of ways, or the old NFL bracket, but when only 6 teams made the playoffs, you had the 2 that got the byes in the first round. But if the 6 upset the 3, then they automatically went to the 1.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't know. I think it may be just set in stone, the way that the bracket is made. The one guy that would know isn't listening today, or you've made him mad with your Astro talk. One of the two.
Hey, I said go Astros.
You did say go Astros.
What's going on here? I was rooting them on.
But anyhow, yeah, Major League Baseball coming right down to the wire. It's going to be good.
I mean, usually Wednesday games are afternoon games, but not so much with those games we talked about. And they're all on the West Coast, so it might be a late night score following between the Rangers and the Astros games too.
Yeah, look at your magic number's got to be what, 2?
2.5. Yeah, it's up. I saw one said 4, one said 2, but I was looking at when was it posted. At this point, I don't care. Get in the playoffs, so go Astros.
You got a game. Oh man, I didn't write the Rangers down because
I was afraid the Rangers had jinxed it, the organization, because a couple of days ago. Keep in mind, 2 days ago. A lot can happen between now and then. They sent out a text. You can sign up for like text messages stuff. Said, "Hey, get your postseason tickets now." Like get access to them.
Right.
I'm like, wait a minute. I had to wait. They didn't clinch anything yet.
See, I'm terrible at math. There's 5 games left.
You're not terrible at math, dude. You're better than me.
5 games. So after today, yeah, the Astros must have the day off tomorrow, leading into a 3-teamer on the weekend, because they've played an extra game. They're at 158. So they only have the 4, and they're going to play 1 today. So they'll just have the 3. So, yeah, they're getting tomorrow off, whereas everybody else is playing all the way through. 5 left for Texas, 5 left for Seattle. So let's say, well, everybody can't win. Let's say the Rangers win. Houston wins. That means 3 left, 4 left. I think you'd be at, because 1 win would put you. No, you're still not there. So it may be 3. Yeah, I think it's 3. I think your magic number is 3.
Yeah.
Because 2 wins would put you dormy to where it would be 1. Any loss by any of those teams or any win by the Rangers win. So, yeah, I'm going to say your magic number is 3. Just doing the quick math in my head. Does that make sense?
Yep.
It's close.
Anyways.
You can taste it.
It's right there.
You can taste it. If you had a choice of who to play in the first actual round, the division series, who would you choose? Because right now it looks like you're going to play the winner of Tampa and whoever gets the last wild card, Houston or Seattle.
Seattle, clearly.
Because they've dominated, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, magic number's 3.
They've had success against Tampa. I can't remember. Like earlier in the year, they swept them. It was when I was in Florida, ironically. And I was able to watch it because I was in the Florida market.
Right.
No, yeah, you want the Mariners with the success that they've had. And you certainly hope that continues the last series of the year. But that's who you want. Last person you want is Houston.
That was going to be that's got to be right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean the Rays have had postseason success as well.
Yeah.
With kind of this group.
Right.
But Houston has got to be the boogeyman.
Defending champs. They feel like if they can just get in, they can make a run. And I think a lot of people feel that way too.
Yeah, just
if they just get in, then they'll probably be favored in the AL.
Yeah, I really don't think you want either one of.
No.
I think you definitely want Seattle. if you get a choice
Right.
between the Rays and Houston.
Yeah, in Globe Life will be rocking. That one game I went to, it was a Saturday afternoon game, but it's a crazy feeling when you go to a place. And I've been to Ranger games when they're not having a great season, and it's just like, the fans are like, well, we're here, day at the ballpark, whatever. But this place, it was a little electric, like, okay, we're here to win. We expect to win, and every hit, everybody was engaged. It'll be electric for playoffs.
If you had a little bit more wiggle room, which you don't, but you almost wouldn't mind losing out, let the Twins win out, and then you could play Toronto.
Yeah.
Toronto. Problem is you don't get the bye.
Right.
Anyway. So it's kind of odd that Toronto. Wait a minute. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it'll be Tampa and whoever wins Houston, Seattle. That'll be Toronto and Minnesota. And I think the Toronto-Minnesota winner will play the Baltimore Orioles. And the Tampa AL West wildcard winner will play the Rangers. You'd probably want to be on the other side of that, just with inexperience.
Yeah.
But you do want the bye. There's no doubt about that. It's fun to talk about, isn't it, Jared?
It's great.
It's the first time in the history of the show that we talked Rangers baseball in September.
It's on September 27th, absolutely. It's first time.
Or you know what, there might have been a What's on Jared's Mind where you just railed against John Daniels.
Yes.
There's very possible.
There's been a couple of those.
We've done that.
There's been a couple of those. Don't have to do that this year.
When we come back, head coach Zach Maynard will be in the house to talk Elk City Clinton next.
The Skinny on Sports.
Welcome back, Skinny on Sports, 98.1 FM, the sports animal. Joined now by Big Elk head football coach, Mr. Zach Maynard. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Did you miss us last week?
Yeah. Terribly.
It's not very convincing.
There's a little pause there.
He was trying to think of a nice way to say no, so he just said yeah. Let's look over, 4-game non-district schedules, a little bit different with the last couple of years. How do you feel like your team grew throughout those 4 games heading into district play on Friday?
I think you saw us get consistently better from the scrimmage to where we're at today. I think we're leaps and bounds better. Have a better feel for what we're trying to do and accomplish this year, which is, obviously a little different than it's been last year. And, trying to get guys with their skill sets to help them put them in the best position to be possible to be good.
Bye week came at a pretty good time, it felt like, with some guys nicked up. How do you feel health-wise going into Friday night?
I feel pretty good. We're still going to have a couple guys out. But currently we're about as healthy as we've been all year, even before the scrimmage, just from things that happened in the first couple of weeks of practice. We're as healthy as we can probably be.
What's your approach? You mentioned non-district, 4 games. Then you shift gears to district play. Is it okay, throw all that away, or new season? How do you approach this second part of the season?
Well, psychologically, we're 0-0. We take some of the obviously we take the mistakes that we made and the actual scheme football, and we make sure that we're doing the right things and in the right place and doing what we're supposed to do. But from psychological standpoint, from a mental standpoint, we're 0-0, and really our first game's Friday.
What do you see from the Red Tornadoes that you have to prepare for and have to get ready on one side of the ball or the other? That's going to be a must to come out with a district win on Friday.
Well, we're going to have to tackle well. They're going to run. Clinton's going to be Clinton. They've been doing the same thing since seems like forever, running toss sweep and then running belly dive and then the quarterback some and throwing it around at times when you get too many people stacked in there. So defensively we'll have to tackle really well. We'll have to make sure that we have force players and we play flat down the line of scrimmage. And not penetrate too far to create more running lanes, and then offensively they're going to play their 50 front. They've got some really good linebackers, Their nose guard, I think, is a 4-year starter. They've got really good players. That nothing's changed over there. So, but the formula is still the same: be tough, be disciplined, don't turn the ball over, and play with great effort.
Hanging out with Big Elk head coach Zach Maynard. You mentioned psychologically as far as going into the game 0-0. There's another thing psychologically that I think teams have, just something about over there in that stadium where a bunch of them are beat before they ever even get off the bus. How do you guys counteract that to give yourself the best chance to win as the ball is kicked off?
Well, that's, to me, it's everything that we've been preaching for 2 years now. It doesn't matter when the ball rolls out there, whether it rolls out there in the parking lot or in Owen Field or wherever it's at, or in Alabama. We're competing to win, and so we're not worried about anything else going on. Elk City's needs to be worried about the Elk City Elks, and whenever that ball rolls out, man, it's go time. As far as I know, their field's the same size as ours, and the hashes are in the same place. The only thing different is they have turf and ours is grass, and we're going to play a game, and we're going to have just as many fans on our side as they're going to have on their side, I assume. So let's go play the game.
The last two opponents also carried a lot of tradition. It could going out and say, hey, we played Canadian, we played Carl Albert, and it's just like playing anybody else. You pop the same pads, you're hitting the same type of way. Does that maybe help you going into playing a tradition team like Clinton? No,
I think so. I think, you go back to a year ago when you walk out to Carl Albert Stadium and you see everything that's going on, and it opens your eyes a little bit. Even mine, you don't really understand it until you're there in it. And then, Canadians kind of the same way. What a cool place that is to play a football game. So, obviously that helps a lot. That's kind of why we scheduled those guys and play those games. And so, psychologically, I just may sound really old school. It's a football game. Let's go win a football game. It has nothing else to nothing. The people, the banners, whatever it is, mean nothing about tonight. Let's go play the game, guys. So you think about those things and how it could affect kids, but I don't know. Being from Davis and Hobart, I'm sure we had some of those same things go on when we were playing home games. But the old school in me says, guys, it's a football game. Let's go play.
Yeah, and nobody on that field had anything to do with anything that's hanging up there necessarily either.
That's exactly right.
When you look back at the season so far, is there something that's surprised you that you guys are able to do maybe a little bit better than you thought? Or is there something that you thought, man, I really thought we'd be better than that in this facet of the game?
Well, right now, I really thought that we'd be a little better tacklers, getting people to the ground. But obviously, we worked really hard on that, and I probably need to refrain from that a little bit because I felt like we really did a good job on 21 from Carl Albert at times, and he's an anomaly of a back from who we're going to see. Even though Clinton's backs are extremely talented, this guy's a 4-star recruit who is probably 240 and can run and at low center of gravity. So, but I thought at times, especially early on, we did a really good job on him. We played hard and in that game, and really for about half a quarter played right there with him, stood toe to toe. So, excited about where we're at. We also obviously have a lot of room to grow, and we've got some places that we still have work to do across the board. I mean, really, we're not – even where we're at today, we won't be here in 5 weeks. I had to talk at Kiwanis yesterday, and ultimately we're just trying to be better than we were a week ago. So the product you see Friday night, if it's better than it was the Friday night against Carl Albert, then whatever happens, we're going to be excited about that because we still have a 6-game season, and we're going to win more than we lose if we'll get better every single week.
You kind of said – a couple weeks ago after the Carl Albert game, and we were kind of saying it too, it felt like that was probably – obviously Carl Albert is what they are. They are a really, really good team, maybe the best in the state. But as a team, I mean, just take that away, but looking at the Big Elks and how you guys performed, it felt like it was a more complete performance that we saw all year. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think the energy and the emotion and the passion maybe even the leadership, the feel on the sideline was never negative or pointing the finger. It was everybody was pulling the rope in the same direction, and ultimately, that's what we wanted to see that week. We had expectations of playing hard, getting after it, and playing together. And so it's really neat to see. And obviously, having a week of practice last week and then obviously this week of practice, I think that's starting to continue to grow.
Do you sense your guys a little bit more excited so far this week in practice because they know what's coming up on Friday and because the games, every one of them counts for 6 straight weeks to get in the playoffs?
No, I think so. Our attention to detail, obviously from the coaching staff is very high. But I think the kids are the attention to detail for the kids, even in their own, watching film on their own and doing things on their own has went up. And so they've noticed some things and brought some things up even as well. So, the attention to detail's there. And I think our kids are really, really excited about it.
Go ahead.
Do you think
something on the tip of your tongue?
Do you think that they know the history of going over there for the brown and white?
Oh, I'm sure.
Do you think that they know, or are they so young that it doesn't even matter?
I don't know the history. All I know is what happened last time we went over there. And but once again, it's a football game. We're going to show up. We're going to get off the bus. We're going to put our pads on. And the most disciplined, tough, physical team, they're going to be the ones who win Friday night.
So what if you had one key to have to happen Friday, is it tackle or is it something different? I
would say both sides of the line of scrimmage win. Be extremely physical. Coach Weber used to say all the time, the team that spits the bit first is going to lose. You got to make the other team spit the bit. So that's a kind of a rodeo slogan. I don't know if we got any rodeo fans.
I was happy I knew exactly what he was talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, I agree. The line play, I think this, from what I've seen from both sides, is, in the off week I was able to catch Clinton's game against John Marshall, and they got a good push. But the game that stood out to me was how they performed against Heritage Hall, a good team that they were kind of pushing around up front once they settled down. In Oak City, of course, last couple of years, this year included, really good up front. It's going to be all about that. And that's how football's won. I mean, that's just since day one, who can push each other around.
Whoever runs the ball best
wins the game.
Doesn't turn it over. Doesn't make silly mistakes. And whoever's the most physical and the toughest team. It's the same remedy every week.
All right. Hey, thank you. We'll
Absolutely.
see you downstairs right quick. Matter of fact, we can probably go.
No.
What do you want to talk about?
Whoa.
I even have it on here.
We got the most important
I do.
thing.
I even have it on here. Okay, go ahead, Jared.
Because I would get in trouble.
Yes, you would.
10 years ago, I was in a hospital watching OU beat Notre Dame, and I could care less who won because I was holding my firstborn. Katie Dawn Atha was born this day 10 years ago. Happy birthday to my daughter, Katie Dawn Atha, 10 years old.
Did you remember it, or did you see that I put it on the sheet?
No, I remembered it. I woke up remembering it.
I put it on the sheet just in case we wouldn't forget, and then I forgot. Happy birthday, Katie. What's the plans for the night?
Practice. That's the plan. We got.
Sorry
practice.
about your birthday.
Yeah.
It's practice.
Practice. We went to friends last night, but we'll practice tonight. We'll bring some cupcakes. But we have a birthday party planned for Saturday afternoon.
I was even coming back through there. I guess my phone was broken. All right, everybody have a great Wednesday. We'll be back tomorrow. One day closer to Friday Night Lights district play opening for the Big Elks over in Clinton. Thank you to Coach Murray. Thank you to Coach Maynard. Don't forget to go out there 11 in the morning. The Elkcats in Pauls Valley.
Yeah.
For a regional softball action. It's going to be a good week for the Brown and White. Everybody have a great day.
You've been listening to the Skinny on Sports podcast with Aaron Cow. Be sure to hit that subscribe button to get alerts of when the latest podcast is available. Thanks for listening.
That ball is blistered to right.